Fifth Street Dicks, a lot of those places that taught me a lesson about drinking and being a poet. Could have got into hip hop back in the '60s, Gil Scott and all those cats. I almost went on tour with Gil Scott, but they said I was too much of a militant. Then I realized that he wasn't actually militant; he was a songwriter. I started understanding the difference between songwriters and poets. I'm going to read this piece I wrote back in the '80s. It's called "They Fought So Hard Their Blood Never Touched Sore." The preface is in '85, reading poetry around San Francisco, going around Berkeley, across to Oakland, back down to LA at night. Place to write in those days was a lot of them. Owners cared that you came in and said it wasn't all busy, but culture. Workers didn't kick you out because they thought money wasn't moving, didn't like you for you were reading. You woke up with a man in himself, and not pleasure, just life writing. Out in history is something to give back. And if life did pick up again in the future, young societies growing, I think humanity was first, and a college career is not all pleasure. And some thought in the night of conversation with writers and locals who thought they'd move around to the art they read. And some marveled at the time in no college, back in and drinking those nights to write a piece, still leaning, hoping, in their fingers and all of those bodies. And they would talk up, and the cats who thought they were cool, two cooks, all of them in one place. And knowledge like user knowledge, demanding those who outwit that you could get in there. No one came to the tables for a good night to think, where is this piece? And if I know it's there, and feel that something is around, I'm not going to sit here all night and drink until the night close bar. And I'm still here, wild and thing, a voice of catatonic verse. Two African-American gents, one new, seen around reading places of art. Some poets stopped and being poets became artists and got around to the poetic crowd. Who's used to the nose of life and as a sound. 12 Ethiopian soldiers who died for the freedom, career of freedom, how the United Nations started. The love passed Selassie into peace and war, the tale of myth stayed into war. This is the poem itself. That they fought so hard, their blood never touched soil. Out of war, no matter the people that you could, society know there's always a battle, life dies. Innocent rise, evil kill evil. They don't last, breed of life, face, bite other countries, who have nothing to do but invade. They can't go there with language and people who walk by. They see nothing. They keep the moon rising in the sky. Scientists knows people know who study like planets on Earth, the war battle, some of themselves they see, still in life as it goes on. Civilian Hollywood laughter, the taste of war. The Romans killed Jesus in myths. America killed Martin Luther King Jr. in the real world. And who are the Americans trying to believe it? Forever the Jewish false herds, the servants of life, a man could stop war with man's evil, taught it was a fever in itself. No war will be the pleasure of the lies over mankind, the inches to say. And those in the morning moon, swiftly the battle is never on earth. You can see it in the sky. Aircrafts flee leaders, things from the snow mountains, tops, windows, and the palm trees, sitters everywhere, confusion, battle talk. And this is not the part of people so blind in themselves. In search of war, the false adventure of the universe, but the world doesn't watch, teach your language before they parade their wise men who know the world. Soldiers come, they run careless land, the war all over Europe. People cry out with terror, control that only Europe understands. Some say the world is ending all times, the West gather land. Civilians with no guns, the war of life, and the earth flames, and women like chivalry around again. They aren't out to save life, no life saved. Soldiers laugh, and search for civilians like dogs, people scatter. Life gone, who knows life more than war? No one's like war more than invaders. They come to destroy, brain, their laws of life, control language. Society destroyed, dips into the ancient laws of man, but face weather journalists become part of life. They look at war as theirs. They talk of war as if it's no life. War of words is never enough. People who street burns, women race. The ones who don't love like this, people burning and think of time, news cry war, and easy for life to die. The plastic world, all those plastic and all those times never lost. They're like, false glory, and they're always there. Make sure people die for nothing, but can't war stop? Who starts? It's from a new generation turns. They started up and they never learned from the waste of life of mankind. And everyone in is joined, the meter never changed. That if death is a toy, who can play with it most? Society that writes. Who can cover up the world best? Not war is life. Innocent had no time to run. Others died in invasions of lands. The trick of death is to believe it's all right. Soldiers come. Countries say anything. Just wonder why. And what do they see in Ethiopia? A quiet life. You can't hear much. People who live, they come. Terror of life, war, raging of time. Women who once mourn don't ask. Overcrowded love, no one gets. $1 isn't enough. Who cares about over the way Poland invaded Egypt? They think acts. Where is it to say the French is careless or anyone loves? They just want land. Life nowhere where nothing found. People run, readers seize, the active they are writing, and all those years is right. They look at the world, language is yours, give, you're nothing, another love, people die, they want, they like, crowded life where military comes. No love of life, women just use their bodies to take war going on. People say, fine, some Saturday night all the time, no God, just false love. Bars full of people who learn to die, graveyard full of schoolboys who learn to play with death. They think they are doing it for their country to rob and steal with social order. And people don't forget death, they just keep it going. A civilian can't understand once a lawyer, now you're on the run. No law can stop war once it starts. Years to fix, language gone. Society erased no one in the picture, even use to pray life. People run from death, some can't hide. People who don't worry, they just live. No life, just death. Crowded fast, life of war. They laugh any kind of way. They tell you they do. It's like quicksand of water. Or even get out of it. The way war comes, give me some of that jewel and land. Take up because of the money, not just because of the world. Science cries, give me the genius, those who won't. It's a sad story, just death. In civilian, no war comes, and they camp up to society and think it's right. Tanks move in, unstopping, useless, think there's some in arms and cattle. No rain is scattered. Loss moves life. People still ask why. Even everyone wants to be influenced, no one's saying anything. But people are nearly living up to their end, no love in them. And people already lives. There's nothing left to say to them. They are thinking, they are helping, and they are destroying. Weak death, strong turns into lies, they're fun for death. You can see death in their eyes and those who want it. The world can't love. People who can't want it, they just want love when it comes. They act as if it's nothing. They can want a friend to live. If it's nothing is wrong with life, flowers don't turn red tonight. Night cry death, and who is the freedom? And some people will ask it instead of giving it. They just want land or your life. To talk about man if he cares, to think the United Nations of all places to find war, nations fight, no use to death to others. Journalists lies, they have sky. They go along with if it decides of winning, it wasn't destroying minds. Coming to the United Nations from Ethiopia, the man who can see, knows, nation talk, hours play, Italian soldiers come, the storm, dust up into the land, and farmers have to think, people aren't there. You have to wake up and fight. Dark nights, eagles cry, and death remains the same. Talk of nations, wide countries, people who want their own planet, and think of no one but themselves. Fast life of death. Who's trying to control it as many as a fascist life as it comes upon Ethiopia? The lost souls die for nothing. They have no pain. They have no place to go. No career but a soldier. Time no one's used, and the people, because they had before war, they had the tales of love, and it's guts beat up the civilians who want to change but disorder the West. Back water broadcast of Renaissance, and the life of nothing more than to take over land and dress it as the act of consolations. No one asks for it and use it. The staircases of people with their arms, they like the warriors, and without the script, they go into it. And the time is a part of society, there will be, like any civilian of Ethiopian life, so quiet as time. They talk of nation. They think the world is a battlefield of love. Nation looks, they ask, why don't you? And the war goes on, the fire in cities, and the people laugh at riots. They are like war, they cry death. People run like children. Their minds become a story stock. Some will never get back to the normal life, but people in their minds will cry war. Nations use it to gather land women, and evil cries always enjoy. In every even life, those of the journalists talk, the dust up in smoke. Tanks roars like thunder, the cry of night. Who can ask about life? No teachers, just war, and people pick up. Nations cry. They think they are rights at brave, and who's give up the people of their rights. And no one can stop them, as it the man among no justice, no life to know. The media cries in words, and they ask real questions. How society gets back to where it's to forget. Some cry war, not an army. Victory is coming. They put up a flag. They never leave. They aren't quiet anymore. They'll just fight to leave the land to others. That's some of this. It's pretty long. So that's some of this poem. It's dedicated to a career. I don't know if it's a true tale or not, but I was told this story that the United Nations was started Haile Selassie went up to the United Nations to ask the countries to get Italians out of Ethiopia, and it said there was no United Nations. So Haile Selassie took 12 Ethiopian soldiers, sent them to Korea to die for Korea's freedom, and that's how the United Nations was started.